Well, hello there, everyone. If you are in the Pacific Northwest like I am, you are enjoying the most amazing extended summer right now. Summer started a little bit late for us over on this side of the USA, and we were most of the way through June before it wasn't gray and rainy anymore in the Tacoma, Seattle area. And so I very much have been appreciating this extended summer into September and October that we are enjoying now. It is crazy that it's still summer and warm out. And it really made an annual event that we do with one of our good friends, a family that we know. They have kids the same age as ours. And ever since they were little, we have gone to pumpkin patch together. And the pumpkin patches have changed over time. There's one that we really love, however, called Spooner Farms. And it's the best pumpkin patch ever, in my opinion. There's food stalls. There's a corn maze. There's little kid-powered go-karts. There's fun cutouts for the kids to take pictures. And we have this whole series now of pictures of them since they were little all the way up until now in the same setup. So it's very much a tradition I look forward to, as well as the delicious turkey drumsticks and amazing food and corn on the cob and all kinds of things they have there as well. And there was something that happened this time that made me think about what we're going to talk about today. And we did the corn maze, and they do such an amazing job every single year of setting up a different pattern. It usually has a theme of some sort, and they make this amazing corn maze in this cornfield that they have. And there's clues, and the kids have little scratch-off things, and it's just a really good time for all of us. This year's was particularly hard, and we had trouble at first finding out where our first station we were supposed to find in the maze was. And after a few minutes, we came to this area that had a set of stairs that you could walk up onto. And from there, you had a vantage point where you could see the layout of the maze from a bird's eye view. And you could start to see where things were. And then you could go back down and continue your journey. And it made me think of what we're going to talk about today, because of the fact of what I call 2020 hindsight. When you have done something to the point where you can look back and go, oh yeah, I'm really glad that I had that experience because I've built up something. I've built up resilience in this case to be able to make it seem like it's not so hard anymore. But I remember how hard it was, but I only know that now looking back. And this is what I want to talk to you today about, is now knowing that the journey that I've been on, I know that I've built what I call offer resilience. My ability to talk to people who I consider the people that are the most benefited from the offers that I make, whether that is from our production company or whether that's from our story team's trainings or whether that's now for coaches and entrepreneurs that we provide all of their tech and their production stuff for their vodcasts that they're setting up and help them do that. I now have resilience that I've built up like a muscle doing the reps in order to approach people. And it doesn't bother me anymore. And I was trying to think of why this was, why I can look back and go like, oh yeah, this is not hard for me, where other people might be embarrassed or hesitate to send an email or get in somebody's DMs or make a phone call or get up in front of a crowd and talk. What is it that makes it so that's not hard for me? And I went, oh my gosh, this is because of the fact that I sold insurance door to door. I am not even kidding. Don't I seem really old-timey and quaint now that you know that about me? That I used to sell insurance door to door. This is literally the truth. So I was at a point in my life where I had lost a contract when I was an actor in theater. And I thought it was the best contract ever. And there's a whole story behind that. Some of you may have already heard about it. I've talked about it in a previous episode about literally getting kicked out of England and then coming back, being in my in-laws' basement, and I needed to make some money. Because staying in my in-laws' basement, they are lovely people, but I'm sure I don't have to explain to most of you how that is not the ideal situation when you are in your mid-20s and you're married. Okay. So I needed to find an exit strategy as quickly as possible. And the first thing that came up in a very, what I considered at the time, crappy market as far as the skills that I had to make money, it was either bartending or something else. And I wanted to do something else. And so there was this company that allows you to sell insurance door to door and to be self-employed, but you had to like have your own signs and you had to get these lead cards from them and you had to like do all this stuff and do all this stuff on your own. And it was terrifying for me. Even with my experience being an actor and being on stage and having done film and things like that and a little bit of TV up to that point and all my training, it was still hard for me to be myself and cold call people. Now, when I talk about cold calling, I'm talking about, if any of you have ever been in any kind of high pressure sales situation, they have what are called lead cards. And these lead cards are rated A, B, C, or D in my case. And they were literally cards, 3x5 cards that had a name and a phone number on it. And if they owned a company in this sense, I knew that as well because it was specifically insurance we were selling to small business owners. And so it would have the name of their company. And that's it. Now, at the top corner of each card would say A, B, C, or D. Now, if you were one of their top sellers and have been doing this for a long time, you got the A leads. Anyone that's seen Glengarry Glen Ross or any towards a Boiler Room or any sort of sales thing, Wall Street thing, knows like there's different kinds of leads, and your amazing, great sellers already who've been with you a long time, they get the A leads and the B leads. So I was rocking out with the C and the D leads. It was great if it was a C, but it was usually a D lead. These are people that literally had said no and slammed the phone down probably, or hadn't been able to be reached at some point. And that's what I was working with. And I needed to make hundreds of these calls, like big, thick stack, in order to get maybe one appointment that would not get mad at me and slam the phone down and like ask me how I got their number. Like, it was definitely a trial by fire. But 2020 hindsight, up on top of that staircase, looking back at the maze and seeing the lay of the land, I am so grateful now to have had that experience because it helped me build offer resilience. Whenever you are an entrepreneur, whether you are selling services, products, whatever you're doing, whether you own a brick and mortar store and you are selling goods, you need to talk to people and make offers. Tell them about what you're doing and how it's going to help them. And the only way to get good at that is to keep doing it over and over and over again. There is no other way around this. Now, some of you would rather do anything else than make offers, and you're hiding. And I know that you're doing this because I definitely have the impulse to do that too sometimes. I come up with a new product or a new thing I want to tell people about, and it feels very tender. It feels very vulnerable to say, hey, I made this thing, or I created this service, or I created this product, and I think you should like it. It makes you feel like when you're rejected that they are rejecting you. And no one likes to feel that way, right? I know I don't. But the only way for you to hit your sales targets, for you to make the money that you need for your family, for you to grow your business, is to make offers. Now, if you're hiding, it might look like you're being productive, because I've done this stuff too, so let's talk about it. Being productive might look like, oh, you know what? I really need to work on the website. If the website was just better, if I changed the font and the colors and maybe had some different graphics, I bet that would be better. I should do that first. And so you spend hours and hours doing that instead of looking over on LinkedIn, getting on Instagram, making offers, seeing someone that might need what you need, contacting them by phone, by email, whatever you need to do in order to start a conversation with them and let them know how you can help them. Because that's uncomfortable, right? They might say no. If it's not the website, it might be, I'm going to come up with a new email sequence. And so I'm going to watch a bunch of different experts like Amy Porterfield or someone else about how to write good copy and do all kinds of good stuff. even though you've already taken a class on that recently and you already have something that you could be using right now. So you're hiding by being productive in other areas of your business, rearranging the stock shelves in some way or form, whether you're a virtual seller or whether you have a brick and mortar experience store. You have to make offers. And building up that resilience can be really, really hard. It makes you feel uncomfortable. And I just want you to know that if you're feeling uncomfortable and you don't want to do it, nothing is going wrong here. That is a perfectly normal way to feel, even for people that have been doing it a long time. Feeling embarrassed and being rejected is part of it. The more that you can make that not about you and that they just were not the right fit or you were not talking to them at the right time will help with that. Because it is a numbers game. You are going to get no's. As you get better and as you get your pitch down, it will get easier. And you will build up what I would like to call offer resilience. And you can build that up by making time for yourself each week where you just do it, even though you're going to be uncomfortable. Plan for the fact that you're going to be uncomfortable and you're not going to want to do it. Here's something that I would offer. Do it for 15 minutes. Find 2 or 3 people. Heck, find one person that you want to do a little bit of research on, and you have to send them a message of some sort. I don't care if it's planes, trains, or automobiles. It can be a DM, it can be an email, it can be a phone call, it can be a text, it can be something else. But you have to contact someone in that 15 minutes. Let's say you set it up for 3 times during next week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're going to set aside 15 minutes on each of those days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to make an offer. 1. And after that, you increase the time each week, 30 minutes, an hour. And as this starts to happen, that snowball gets bigger and bigger as it's rolling down the hill, and you're going to get momentum. And you're going to start building up your offer resilience, your sales resilience, where the no's are just like, yeah, okay, great. I got through that no. That means I'm that much closer to getting my yes. That wasn't right for that person. That's fine. Doesn't mean anything about me. And if it does mean anything about me, it just means I need to get better about the way I'm communicating. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean I shouldn't have reached out to them to talk to them. It doesn't mean anything bad about me. It just means that wasn't the right person at the right time for me to talk to about this. And that's fine. Next. So I really want you to think about how you can do this in your own business. Entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders, anyone. If you are in business, you've heard me talk about this before. If you're in business, you're in sales in some capacity, even if sales isn't in your title. You might be just selling a concept to the rest of your team about what you think the direction should be that you should go in order to meet your goals. That means you have to talk to people. You have to get in front of them. You have to have conversations one-on-one, as a small group, as a team. Building offer resilience is going to help you to be able to do this. So if you feel uncomfortable picking up the phone, emailing, texting, DMing your ideal clients, you're doing it right. You're not doing anything wrong. But this is going to be the way. That uncomfortableness is literally the currency that you spend, that you invest in order to get to the other side of that where you're getting sales. Now, I'm talking about this because I take my own medicine. I'm uncomfortable too, especially when I've made something new and I want people to like it so much. My people pleaser instinct is so strong during that stage of creating anything new. And so I'm right there with you. I have a good friend that talks about if you spot it, you got it. And so what I'm talking about right now, what I'm spotting, is absolutely something I deal with now, even though I've built up all that resilience. But I promise you, just like going to the gym, just like getting those reps in with whatever exercise you're doing, you will get stronger over time, but you have to start. So being uncomfortable is not a reason not to do it. Your website does not need to be worked on anymore. That email sequence does not need to be tweaked for the 100th time. You need to talk to people about your offer and start building up offer resilience. All right, my friends, I know that you can do this. I am in your corner. Set aside 15 minutes 3 times this next week. Reach out to someone, make them an offer. All right, my friends, I will talk to you later. Have a great week.